Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hi everyone, my name is Yani Gunawan. Today I'm going to talk about social system, its relations to belief, and how it is represented in vernacular architecture. A system consists of parts, and the connection between these parts called relations. Through these relations, the parts are interdependent in affecting a joint outcome. In a system, every part has a fixed role and a definite role to play. For example, there are 10 persons in the field. They are simply a collection of a set of individuals. But if we put them in a context such as a basketball match, relations in the context emerge. Each have a role to play and they function interdependently for a joint outcome, to win the game. According to Talcott Parsons and William Ogburn, social system discusses interrelationships between individuals and groups according to shared norms and meaning. They are interdependent for a social system to function as a whole. Family is a type of social system. The smallest unit is known as a nuclear family, consists of father, mother, you, and siblings. Each individual has a definite role to play and are interdependent to function as a family. The same applies in the bigger family unit. Members of the same family are interdependent and operate according to certain norms. In other words, the members play their role according to the norms given to them. Without norms, no role can be performed. These norms include folkway, customs, traditions, fashions, morality, and etc. Members' roles are related to elements of social systems, which are belief or faith, which bring the uniformity in the behavior. They act as controlling agency and also act as a guide for different types of human societies. Obligations, the conditions or an act or course of action to which a person is morally or legally bound to do something. Goals or objectives. Man and society exist between needs and satisfaction. These determine the nature of social system. They provided the pathway of progress and the receding horizons. This makes members of a social system interdependent to achieve goals or objectives. Status. Every individual in a society is functional. He goes by status, role, relation. It may come to the individual by virtue of birth, sex, caste, age, or clan. Authority and power. Without authority, no system can function. In a basketball team, the authority rests with captain. The authority exercising power will differ from one social organization to another. In family, with the head of the household. In college, with the principal. In the state, it is that of the ruler. With authority comes power. It is implicit, therefore, that some should be invested with the power to punish the guilty and reward those who set an example. The action of reward and punishment are done according to norms. Rights. Those who perform roles and obey to an authority have certain rights also. In family, the members have rights of inheritance, food, clothing, living, protection, recreation, and education. Similarly, the players of the basketball team have their rights of profession with the administrative organization of the game. All of these elements that affect interrelation between members of social system create a structure to that system, also known as social structure. Social structure is the pattern of social arrangement in society that both emerges from and determine the action and relations between members of social system. They form some kind of order in the system. The type of social structure that emerges derive from certain type of interaction between the society. Social structure is best explained in relation to status, authority, and power, as there will be a clear hierarchy between members of social system, a dominant position and subordinate position, which define a power dynamic. By power, we mean the capacity to direct or influence the behavior of others. This hierarchical social system creates some kind of stratified society, or a ranking system such as social prestige. Order is exercised in the form of authority. In contrast to a hierarchical social structure, there is a collaborative social system where members self-organize around a common function. Each member's role and goal is important for the society to function, and when there is a limited hierarchical structure, then relationships are mostly horizontal, creating a network of social structure with an equal or almost equal power dynamics. Order in this type of social structure seems to derive in the interconnections and between positive interdependence between members of social system. It is this interdependency that creates the glue for a system as a collective function. The context which social structure in the social system function is called social organization. For example, basketball is a social organization. Each basketball team as social organization may have their own set of rules in training their athletes. Each person can belong to a different social organization at a time. For example, an athlete is a member of his basketball team as well as a member of his own family. Examples of hierarchical social structure is kingdom. And in this lecture, we are going to discuss the hierarchical structure in the case of Tamkesi village in Timor, Indonesia. This research is done together with Emmanuel Agung Wicaksono, Aprilia Ralasati, Arsitektur Hijau, Judith Kristianto, and Jody Napitupulu from 2010 until 2011. Examples of collaborative social system is egalitarian society, which will be discussed in the case of Wejewa people in Welewo village of West Sumba, Indonesia. This research is done together with Justin Copertino Umbu, Construye Identidad of Peru, and Aurelius Aron from 2017 until 2019. Both villages still exist today. So, these two villages, Tamkesi and Welewo village, is a social organization, the context in which social system function. Every social organization has its own system and its own norms. The one will be discussed first is Tamkesi village. Tamkesi was a village built on the hill since 1865 as a palace complex for Biboki Kingdom, one of the three major kingdoms in Timor Island. Tamkesi residents belong to Atoen Meto ethnic group which lives in Timor Island. They use Dawan Kromo language spoken only by the aristocrats. This language has a higher level of art than the common people of Atoen Meto. The social structure of Tamkesi community began with Neno Biboki, or the sun, and the community is ruled by a king, also known as Usif Koko or Kaiser, whom believed to be the descendant of the sun. The crown of the king is handed down through an Usboko family lineage. The next hierarchy is a group of royal with a specific role. They are royal spokesman, royal treasurer, court judge, custom police and cultural order guard, warlord, defense and security. And in the social structure in Boboki Kingdom, The king is assisted by other officials based on their respective function, such as minor kings who led the tribes scattered around throughout the kingdom. In general, these tribes are classified into two major tribes, namely Paisanaunu, which cover the eastern region, and Belsikone, which covers the western region. This hierarchical social structure is represented in the hierarchical placement of building according to the level of land, from the lowest social status to the highest social status, from the lowest level of land to the highest to the top of the hill. The King Palace is also called Sonaf Paun Leu, located in the highest contour. The term Sonaf means palace. So Sonaf Naik Paun Leu means the main Sonaf, also the biggest, which also the sacred palace where Kaisar or the king and family live. The king was required to always live in Tamkesi Palace complex to maintain his authority and sacredness. The Sonaf also symbolizes power, existence, and well-being of the kingdom. Towards the north of the Kaisar Palace, there is Sonaf Nenobiboki, a sacred house where sacred objects and traditional rituals are stored. Only very few appointed persons can enter Sonaf Nenobiboki. Then Sonaf Uskenat, or the palace for the royal spokesman. And then there is Lopo Tain Lasi, which is place for deliberation of customary matters and storage of the Biboki kingdom's annual tribute. Sonaf Besilasi is a sacred palace to invoke God and ancestor for strength in preparation for war. Sonaf Nasi, also called the Old Palace because it used to be the residence of the king who resigned due to age, namely Wenun Usboko, who entrusted the throne of the king to his younger brother. The two minor kings, Amaf Belsikone, which covered the western region, and Ma'amaf Paisanaunu, which covered the eastern region, occasionally come to the palace complex to give tribute, report some incident, or if something needs to be discussed. They enter the palace complex from different directions, and each were given specific roads to enter. These two tribes have roles in rebuilding Kaisar's palace. While in daily activities, villagers and visitors of the village enter the palace complex from down the hill. Villagers also use the latter road to get water from a well down the hill. Conflict of power dynamic happened when Indonesia was occupied by the Dutch for hundreds of years. The social structure changed. The Dutch invent Vetor, which functioned as tax collector. However, the village and its vernacular architecture remains unchanged because Vetor lives outside the village. They come occasionally to collect taxes. Another conflict of power dynamic occurred when Indonesia declared its independence in 1945 and became a republic with democratic government system. The social structure changed because Indonesia's government appointed head of village who are not the king, and a major change happened because the government announced that Tamkesi houses are not hygienic. They provide a Javanese modern type house on low stilts made of wood on lower part of the hill. Tamkesi residents call it social housing from Java Island. Some of the villagers abandoned their palace and houses on the hill and live in the social housing to get closer to water well. So some of abandoned buildings in the palace complex up the hill were rapidly dilapidated. There are 4 different types of building in Tamkesi, 3 traditional type and a Javanese type building. The 3 traditional building type are: the first, as mentioned before, is Sonaf, a palace, mostly oval shape. The second is Ume Kebubu, which is the house for the king's family. It has oval or rectangular shape. And the third is Lopo, an oval-shaped two-story building that functions as barn on top and as a place for daily activities such as pounding corn, eating, and etc. at the bottom. Lopo is more open and also function for community gathering. The other modern building are the social house mentioned before. As we can see in the picture, the social house type from Java do not meet their needs and do not fit the Tamkesi culture. So they built another umekububu beside the social house, and furthermore, they add a smaller type of lopo in front of their house. The second case study we will be looking at is the Wejewa tribe in West Sumba, particularly at the Velewo village, an egalitarian society where members of society are considered equal, regardless of gender, race, religion, or age. Egalitarian society do not have class system, and there are few differences between members in status and power. Each members or groups have role and are interdependent. Entering the village, we are welcomed by the tower-like roof forms on stilts. These houses are Sumbanis Rumah Adat or custom house. There are 9 Rumah Adat in the village. Each house has a role in the social system. At the bottom of the hill, Umbulage is the first Rumah Adat we encounter as we enter the village. It functions as a caretaker and guardian of the village. We have to ask their permissions to enter. In the middle of the hill, there is Padikaka, the second house we meet after Umbulage. This house acts as a knight or warrior in case there is intruder comes to the village. Across Padikaka, there is Taramanu, the stewardship of the village. Guests are welcome here, and the house functions as meeting, gathering, discussion of custom or tradition, and sometimes guests can sleep inside the house. And the highest area of the village, there lies Katodalobo, the sacred and ceremonial house. Only few people can enter the house, and only people invited can sit in the terrace of the house. Around Katodalobo, there are satellite houses or satellite rumah adat, Tagudedo, Amangbolu, Umapu'u. These satellite houses is to assist Katodalobo for rituals and ceremonies, and also to support Taramanu or Padikaka if needed. And down the hill, across Umbulage, there is Binabolu, a satellite house to support Taramanu. And each Rumah Adat represent a family bond and a clan of a Wejewa tribe. For example, Taramanu is the family house of Taramanu clan. On daily basis, Rumah Adat is guarded by the caretaker, a nuclear family chosen by the clan to take care of their house. The caretaker uses the house for their daily activities. The other nuclear family in the clan live on daily basis in what is called Rumah Kebun or garden house outside Velewo village. Rumah Kebun are distributed largely in and outside West Sumba, even outside Sumba Island. There is no distance restriction from Rumah Adat or other certain custom or rules to follow. Rumah Kebun can be built anywhere, but not inside the village. So there are many variations of this Rumah Kebun, and some garden houses in the main city of Sumba are Mediterranean-style houses made of concrete. Many Sumbanese are now Catholic and Christians, so in Christmas time or whenever there is rituals, even when there is preparations for the rituals and burial ceremony, the whole clan get together in Rumah Adat. They sleep, cook, eat, dance, sing, and perform rituals inside and around the house. One of the head of Rumah Adat said, in December at Christmas time, the whole clan come to the village. cooking, eating, and sleeping together here inside rumah adat. We also dance and sing together surrounding the house. And another person said, we have to gather together and make decisions in rumah adat regarding rituals and ceremonies. It should be noted that there were 20 rumah adat in Welewo village, but all rumah adat had been burned down at least 3 times and rebuilt 3 times. In 2019, there are only 9. The other 11 rumah adat were still waiting to be rebuilt. The rebuilding requires the whole clan, mostly male, head of the nuclear family, to gather and decide on every step: the trees, the days, the size, the funds, and the preparations of rituals. Consequently, the rebuilding often takes several years to complete, and those who haven't rebuilt their rumah adat cannot return to the village. In this sense, without rumah adat, a clan has no existence in the village. So the village become the center of Welewo social system. Rumah adat also symbolizes family in multi-layers, not only the clan, but also the nuclear family and their ancestors. These layers can be seen in the scale of the house, from the whole to the parts, while the existence of the physical house itself, the rumah adat, signifies the existence and pride of the family's clan. The parts of the house signify the importance of a complete nuclear family. The smallest family unit, the nuclear family, is represented in the 4 main pillars at the core of the house, surrounding the side, the hearth. The 4 pillars represented the father, mother, son, and daughter-in-law. The role of daughter-in-law is vital. She is seen as the bearer of the son of the family, the successor of the clan. Additionally, the placenta of every child born in the clan was put inside his or her rumah adat. In this sense, although rumah adat is her or his father's house, the physical house also symbolizes one's past. The strong bond to the ground where rumah adat stand can be seen on how the 4 main pillars displaying the nuclear family are buried in the ground. Other pillars are placed on top of the stone above the ground, and in the case of burned down rumah adat, the rebuilding of the house must be at the same spot, or in other words, the area is already reserved for that house. No other house can be built in that specific area. Apparently, the ground where each rumah adat stands is related to its clan, its story and social role related to other rumah adat. Each rumah adat is named after its clan, and the Welewo people know why it is built there. For example, guardian of the house, also called Umbulage, most sacred house Katodalobo, the stewardship house Taramanu, and etc. In this sense, the relations between each rumah adat is like a constellation of social role in the village, and at the same time, the village complex is the central of the social system. The ancestors of the clan is also represented in rumah adat. The name and the social role of each rumah adat is closely related to the story of their ancestors. And furthermore, stone tombs are placed in front of rumah adat as a form of respect, and in a way, the villagers believe that their ancestor will protect their village. Despite some Welewo villagers have become Christian and Catholic, they still believe when a person died, he or she become marapu. For example, when a grandfather or father died, his descendants believe that he became one with marapu. In this sense, rumah adat is also the house of the ancestors who became one with marapu. In an interview, the master of ceremony said that it is only through ancestor one can reach marapu. So the ancestor is related to marapu, a Sumbanese belief, and at the same time related to the physical house, the rumah adat. As Tunggul stated, the term marapu has several meanings: the respected, the hidden, the crystallized, the accomplished, the sacred. The diverse meanings are connected to the way Marapu perceives everything: human, animals, plants, earth, materials, water, and etc. So Marapu does not aspire one mighty being, but acknowledge characteristic of a thing, both in the visible and the invisible, identifies the sacred quality of it, and aim at keeping the sacred characteristic of the thing as it is, by managing the attitudes and behavior towards each thing. In doing so, the Sumbanis believe they will gain happiness and prevent misfortune or disaster. This is what is called the norms or the value that restrict the behavior of the people. So we have arrived at the end of the lecture. Throughout the lecture, we have discussed what is meant by social system, social organization, and social structure. We have also discussed the relations between social system to a belief system and how the two is interrelated and how it is represented in vernacular architecture. Hopefully, the two case studies have clearly demonstrated the villages as social organization with two different social structure. And through those social structure, we hope to understand relations between role, status, authority, power, belief, obligation, and rights in a social system. Lastly, this whole social system exists within an environment that is subject to long-term evolution as that environment change. That change may be in technology, economy, or belief system. Either way, the whole system goes through evolution, and roles within organization might vanish or emerge. Through this evolution, society can adapt to new changes and maybe develop a new subsystem. Here are some references of this lecture that you might be interested to look further. Thank you. See you in the next lecture.